everybody, and welcome back to the 5 O'Clock Sweats podcast, the podcast where we talk about things that we like to do when we are not working. I'm joined by my handsome buddies.
I'm Derek, and I'm just a guy. I'm just a little guy.
And I'm Chris. I'm the other guy. I'm not so little, but I am the other guy.
Well, compared to both of you, you know, I'm pretty small. I'm the small guy, technically, if we're being real.
All right, we're just going to clip that real quick.
You guys are a lot bigger than me. Just
Yeah.
so
Right.
everybody
Clip's
knows.
getting long. Long in the tooth on this one. What's up, y'all? I haven't talked to both of you simultaneously in a couple weeks. We took a couple weeks to record some things. I know we had a kind of a busy calendar the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We've burned through our reserves, and here we are. So what's been going on with you guys?
Well,
Yeah, I'm curious.
all right. I'm gonna kind of jump in here because I don't want Ryan to steal my thunder, but I think
Steal it.
at least in terms of kind of what's specific to our podcast, there's been quite a few pretty clutch announcements coming from the Xbox showcase. Two of which were actually, one of which was very expected, and the other I don't think really anybody saw coming, at least this year. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm out of the loop, but first being,
I don't know anything about this. The only thing that I know from it is I think Ryan told me a few days ago that a new Halo was not announced, and that's all I know.
That's the only thing I knew at the
That
time
is the extent
before
of my knowledge.
Before I got home later. It's like, oh, there's no Halo. That's expected but disappointing.
yeah, so there wasn't anything Halo related. To get the crappy news out of the way, they're releasing a new Xbox in the sense that it's just it's basically the Xbox Series X, but it's white, right? And there's no disk drive, so it's just a digital Xbox Series X. And
was it not white before?
I believe it has
It's black. The S is white.
Is it? Okay, I don't know. That whatever. They're doing something weird. And basically they're just like rehashing what they already have. And I think for one of them they upgraded the storage to like a terabyte, which is like, I don't know how that's like a ta-da moment in 2024. I mean, to just be jumping to a terabyte seems like you're behind the eight ball, because I know the S has 500 gigs, right?
Yeah, so
which is crazy.
The Series X has a terabyte already.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're making it 2 terabytes now.
Something, I don't know. They're increasing storage, but it's still, yeah.
They put instead of a $50 drive in there, they put an $80 drive.
Exactly. I always thought it was bullshit the way they sell their SSDs and they're like $250, but you can buy like the nicest SSD 2 terabyte for like a PC and it's like $200. It's the craziest thing to me. But yeah, so I don't think anybody was really surprised, or should I say like wowed by any of that. But I will say Xbox, I think, is going to make a huge turnaround here, and it all starts with Call of Duty. So they finally announced, there was some back and forth here from what I understand for a while about putting Call of Duty on Game Pass. Obviously, they'd be losing a ton of revenue in terms of just, game sales, but I'm sure they're banking on the fact that it brings more people into the Xbox ecosystem. So they did officially announce that it will be available day one on Game Pass. There is a Vault edition, which is like the $100 edition of the game. Every game's doing this now. There's different tiers.
It's like 6 different editions.
From what I heard, if you have Game Pass, you get the base game, but if you can upgrade it for $30 to become the Vault edition, I think. So you get like, some extra cosmetics and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting. I'll be curious to see sort of how it works on PC Game Pass, because like, is it going to tie into your BattleNet? Is it going to tie into like just your Xbox profile and then go through your Activision ID? Like, things are a little split. I'm curious to see how that works. I'd also be interested to know, like, if you stop paying for Game Pass, for example, do you lose that $30 upgrade?
That's a
Right.
good point. I think
Because
you
that's a
do.
one-time fee, but it's not necessarily associated with the subscription, so to speak, if that makes sense. Like, if you stop paying for Game Pass, you would lose access to the game unless you bought the game outright.
Yeah.
But then do you still, you know what I mean? So I think there's
Yeah, that is weird.
some things to be explained, or maybe they were and I just didn't catch it. But I think Xbox is going to do really well with bringing Call of Duty to Game Pass. I mean, that is enough to sell Game Pass alone.
Yeah.
Game Pass had been kind of hurting in the sense, like, it's a good value, but there wasn't anything like totally drawing people in. There wasn't like that one game, even though they've tried to push a lot of games like Gears of War and stuff. But so I think that's going to be awesome.
So
And we can kind of
what's
talk
that
about the
one
new
called?
COD in a little bit. What?
With the new COD. Do we have a name?
It's Black Ops 6, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what's unique about this is the first COD, I believe, ever to have an entire 4-year development cycle. Typically, it's like 2 or 3. I think it's usually 3 because there's been 3 studios, so they kind of rotate on an annual basis. So the expectations are high because they've had more dev time, and it's going to be on Game Pass. So we'll see. I'll be interested to play the beta. I believe it comes out probably sometime towards the end of summer here, maybe early September. And games releasing late October, which is nice. No longer waiting till November. I always hated that. I always felt like, what's the difference? Just give us the game now.
No, yeah.
So-
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like
We'll
in
see.
November is like way too close to the holidays,
Yeah.
and like it'll
Yeah.
make everyone choose between COD or their families.
Well,
Like,
that's an easy decision.
Release it
but-
in October.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, this will give them more time.
so Ryan knows kind of the second part of this this Xbox showcase that was of interest to us. Do you want to talk about the other announcement that I did not see coming?
Yeah, so I mean, I heard rumors that they would potentially that the coalition might have had something up their sleeve, but they dropped a pretty damn good Gears of War trailer for a new Gears of War game, and it's not Gears of War 6. It's a prequel before Gears 1, and it's called Gears of War E-Day, which is going to take place on Emergence Day, which, if you played Gears of War, is the day the Locust first appeared and humanity was left defenseless. I don't know. But anyway,
Already, I love the idea.
Yes.
That's such a cool idea.
Yep.
Without knowing anything else about whatever you're about to say.
They're taking a page out of like Hollywood's ideas nowadays. They're just going to go back to where it all began.
Yeah.
And what this made me think of, and I texted friend of the podcast, Connor, immediately because he's not speed rushed, but he played all of the Gears of War games and read the books and played Gears Tactics, which isn't even a third person shooter. It's like an
Is that an
RTS style
RTS?
game.
Yeah.
So he's even more in tune with Gears of War than I am, and I've played the game since the first one released in 2006, 2007. So I texted him immediately, like, they're pulling a Halo Reach with Gears of War E-Day. They're going back to where it all began, and just reading some things about it. I didn't do a full deep dive on it, but what the coalition, that's the makers of Gears of War, what they want to do is they want to kind of bring the Locust back to the forefront, make them seem, terrifying. Like, they want them to feel like a true threat. And even just like the drone guys, like the lowest tier Locust, they still want them to feel threatening. And the trailer did a great job showcasing that. Kind of gave me like Saving Private Ryan vibes with that one scene where they're having the fight with the knife.
Yeah.
That really intense fight up on the second story of that building. But a young Marcus Phoenix is fighting a Locust drone, and it was really good. And it's supposedly all an engine, and it looks fantastic. I mean, Gears always had great graphics, but I mean, these looked really good. I'm really excited. So you're gonna be playing as young Marcus Phoenix and young Dom.
I assume already enlisted.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm really excited, and it sounds like they want to make some innovations to the Gears of War gameplay formula, which is definitely needed. I'm excited to see what they come up with there. I want to see some gameplay, obviously, but the trailer was good. It really hooked me. It gave me Mad World vibes, like the first Gears of War Mad World trailer. Not quite as good as that, but I think it even had the song in there a little bit towards the end. Chris, you saw the trailer, did you?
I don't think it was the same song. I think it was like a similar. But what I'll say about this is I'm certainly hyped. I'm definitely sold on the campaign, and I'll play the game. I mean, it's going to be on Game Pass, so it's not really like a question of buy or not. But the campaign will do it for me. I'll be interested to see kind of what you were alluding to is like what they do to change the gameplay mechanics, because yes, it was way ahead of its time at one point in time, but I feel like it's now fallen like really far back in terms of like, just the feel of shooters nowadays have changed so much, and it's felt like and this was kind of its strong suit too, but it's always kind of felt like a little bit of a like gimmicky movement, with wall bouncing and all sorts of stuff like that, the way you use the cover system. So I'll be really curious to see how they kind of modernize that and update it. But I'm hyped because, to be honest, like I lost track of the story of Gears over the last, like what, Gears 4, Gears 5. So it'll be nice to like go back to the roots, and I'll jump right in and I'll know kind of what's going on, and the characters are all familiar, and I just hope it brings back that OG vibe, which it looks like it's very dark. I think the new Gears have kind of gotten away from that, like, like that really dark kind of feel, and like, just theme, and even the lighting of the games has been brighter, and the colors. Like I want to go back to that like dark grungy. I think that's really where Gears hit. So I'm super pumped for it.
I'm hyped. It looks good, and just getting Marcus and Dom back together after the tragedy that was Gears of War 3. That
oh no,
that'll be nice.
I never played past 2. What happens to them?
Nothing.
You have to play to find out.
Oh, good. Had me worried.
It's all nothing bad happens. It's all good. Everyone makes it out alive. No casualties.
Yep, that's what it sounds like.
Anyway, so, and going back to the Halo Reach comparison, it's eerily similar because Halo Reach went out to do the same thing that this game's looking to do. And that is Halo Reach wanted to make the Covenant feel like a true threat again. In Halos 2 and 3, they had the Covenant speaking English. In Halo Reach, they went back to them speaking their native alien tongue, which added kind of like a little more of like a mystery element to them. Like, what are these things? Like, what are they capable of? And then also in Reach, they introduced Sprint to Halo, which was the first game to ever introduce Sprint. So that's why I'm thinking, like, I'm curious, like, what will Gears of War E-Day do with the gameplay or like movement in general in Gears of War? Because you can't, the game, I always would love playing Gears of War multiplayer now. I'm like, the game just feels slow and not janky, but what's the word I'm thinking of? I'll say janky for now, but it's just like it's kind of a chore to move around the maps.
It's clunky.
Clunky, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Clunky. So, but it's also, you got to realize that you are these bulked up soldiers that look like superheroes. You can't be flying around the map, sliding, jumping, all that stuff. So I don't know what they're going to do with it. I'm curious to see what innovations they have up their sleeve. But it would be nice to kind of modernize the gameplay more to make it feel smoother, but also not go far away from the old Gears formula. So I think it'll be a challenge for them, but I'm excited to see what they have up their sleeves.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the exact same thing. It's like, it's for sure going to be a challenge because the people that are still playing Gears of War are like hardcore dedicated because, let's be honest, Gears of War, the franchise in general, it's kind of fallen off. It's definitely not like mainstream. And so, like I said, the people still playing are like, they're in love with what it is now. So, you don't want to lose the feel that those players love, but you want to revive this franchise a bit, so to speak. So you want to bring in a new generation of players, right? I mean, we're going back like 15, 16 years, OG Gears, maybe even like 17 years. So, there's a lot of gamers now that haven't even really touched OG Gears. So it's like, how can you bring new players in, making it accessible while also not alienating your hardcore fan base? So I'm really, really interested to see what they do. I think they do have to kind of go with the way of the modern shooter, where the movement needs to feel more responsive. And it always felt like in Gears, it almost felt like a driving game. Like if you ever played a racing game, like,
Derick
you know what I
does.
mean? Like you want to move, but you know what I mean? Like you either don't have enough speed to make a smooth movement, or you have like too much speed. And like I always felt like the momentum was weird, where like, I mean, even turning, right? And the camera angle, you're like looking at the guy's ass,
Well,
and then you're just like taking turns real wide unless you use the cover. It is a little weird. So I think they make it a little lighter and maybe a little bit floatier. I don't know.
If they can make like the base movement speed, because the base movement speed is very slow. I forget if the newer Gears sped it up at all a little bit. But when you're sprinting, you're sprinting, you can't really move left to right effectively. Like you're basically just going in a straight line until you stop sprinting. So I don't know. They could just maybe upping the base walking speed would help improve it a bit, or adding like, I don't know, maybe like a jogging feature or something, or like a fast walk.
Jogging feature.
I have no idea, but I mean, they're gonna have to, it's still gonna be a cover shooter at its core. A cover.
Yeah, it has to be.
Shooter.
I mean, they're not gonna abandon that, but it's how do you keep that intact, but modernize it? Because smashing that, like, for most of your gunplay to be you spamming the A button in some way is a little gimmicky and kind of shitty, nowadays. And I think people want other, like when we talk about movement in games, you're looking at like Apex, Call of Duty has their own kind of movement system, of course. XDefiant, they're tweaking their movement, they're reducing that directional movement, but you have to compete with fast games, and that's what they need to do. But I think it's going to be actually very hard for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of new mechanic that like just triggered a ton of people.
Well, whatever they change, the Gears of War purists will probably be up in arms, but who knows? Hopefully not. How they could spread awareness of the game is by putting it on PlayStation. I think they should do that, but I don't know if they will or not.
Wait, didn't they say they were going to do that?
I don't know if they said that or not.
Was that something else I was reading?
I know there's been rumors about big games going to big Xbox IPs going over to PlayStation, like Halo. I'm sure Halo will be on PlayStation eventually. I don't know when, but I haven't heard anything about Gears of War.
I think that's all crap. That all games should be available anywhere. And my gatekeep.
Exactly. I agree. And Gears of War, I don't know why. I mean, after having played PlayStation so much over the last few months, like I could just see it on PlayStation. It's a third-person shooter. It looks beautiful. Like it just seems like a PlayStation title to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Xbox fanboys are gonna come after me for that one, but Gears, excited for that one.
Sorry, does that have a date?
No, it's probably not until 2025, I would say, at the earliest.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Were there any other big announcements? Those were the two. Obviously, everybody was.
Those were the biggest ones. There was let me see, the Indiana Jones game, which I'm excited to play. They showed new stuff on that. That'll be an Xbox exclusive and a Game Pass exclusive.
Valorant.
Oh yeah, Valorant's
to
coming
console.
That's coming to console. And I tweeted at you. I was like, "You were gonna get some games in, right?" And you shot that down immediately.
No.
That's gross.
No, that game will not. I don't care what anyone says. Come at me. I'm going to die on this hill. And I'm not a Valorant player, but I've played Valorant. It's like that and CS just don't belong on a controller. They don't. And that's where I'm going to leave it. That's all I'm going to say. I like that they're bringing more people to the game. I don't have an issue with that. But if you had to say which version would be better, I mean, I still think the OG PC version. And from what I understand, it's not a port. It's actually like rebuilt, which I think they would have to do, because the aim is so fine that I think they have to design that from the ground up.
Which means also probably no cross-platform.
Yeah, well, I think they specified that. Or I don't know if it's cross-platform or it will be some form of like input-based matchmaking.
Maybe certain playlists or something.
But I don't know any PC player that plays Valorant on controller anyway, so it probably is just Xbox with Xbox and PC with PC. But it allows more people to experience the game, just like Overwatch. When that came to console, I mean, I have no issue with it. I don't think it'll be something that I'm gonna dive into. But I think that's good for Xbox.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna be on my controller, and I'm gonna be playing it, and I'm gonna see if I like it or not. So I'm all about new games coming to console, especially if it's first person shooter.
Yep. And what else? State of Decay 3,
Perfect Dark, which I haven't heard of since like the OG. That was an Xbox 360 launch title, I think.
No,
Perfect
that
Dark
was it.
2,
N64.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
The last time I heard of it,
I remember playing a lot of Perfect Dark 2.
Yeah. I never played it.
That's all I remember. It reminded me of like cybernetic Battlefield almost. I don't know.
Oh, so you know what it was? It was Doom. So there's a new Doom game coming out, and I think Phil Spencer said he wants to put Doom on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking of. I knew there was a big Xbox title that they were like trying to get over to PlayStation. So that's cool too. I mean,
that'll happen. That's definitely
I can see that.
Doom is just like one of those fun games where you just like W key through the whole game and just fuck shit up.
Yeah.
I've never played. Well,
it's on Game Pass.
Yes, I have played a little bit, but not enough to form a true opinion on it. But that's a franchise I got to sink my teeth into a bit.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. What's this Vin Diesel game? Why do I keep seeing Vin Diesel
game? There's a Vin Diesel game.
That both surprises me and doesn't surprise me.
Oh, wait, it's Ark 2. It's Ark 2.
Correct.
That means nothing to me. What?
Ark?
Was there an Ark 1?
Yeah. Oh, Ark Survival.
Ark Survival.
It's like
the dinosaur
okay.
game.
Yeah.
Where the survival.
And there's
with
a sequel to it.
Apparently so. And Vin Diesel is in there.
Why is he in there? What's he doing?
What's he doing there?
What's he doing?
I mean, you could say that for anything that Vin Diesel's in. What the hell is this guy doing?
I am Groot.
Family.
Yeah, it's literally like it's a crossover between like Ark and the Fast and the Furious.
That's just driving cars out, just trying to outrun T-Rexes
in sports cars. Yeah, that's dope. That's a good concept.
They saw Cyberpunk get Keanu Reeves, and they're like, "Who do we get?"
But that is
who's the next best guy?
That's a very different. That's a very different level of
Vin Diesel's
character.
Not cool anymore.
Well,
He's not
no,
cool
and
anymore.
also, I don't know. Like Cyberpunk just lends its hand, more towards having like a real actor as a character in there.
Hand.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know much about Ark, but this looks corny with Vin Diesel with these tribal tattoos.
Fuck.
Yeah, I feel like knowing what I know about Ark, there's no reason to have any real anybody associate themselves with the game. It's just player models.
Far Cry does that. They did that with Giancarlo Esposito and a couple other people, I think. Call of Duty
in a story mode.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true.
Well, Call of Duty stopped doing it after Kevin Spacey.
Oh shit!
They're like, yo, we're not doing that shit anymore.
we gotta separate ourselves from that.
That was bad. That backfired.
Kevin who?
That did not age well.
That never happened. What are you talking about?
But I think overall it was a good showcase. It makes me sad though that like we don't have E3 anymore.
Yeah,
You know what I
no,
mean?
miss,
Like
I miss E3. That was like an event.
oh yeah, it was like multiple days, and I would like it would actually give me anxiety because I'd be like, "Yo, how am I gonna watch this at work? Like, I got to find a way." To, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was like this time of year was so hyped, and it was actually kind of like a tease though because the summer is pretty notorious for being like nothing gaming wise happens like in June, July, and August other than like announcements. But yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with it. But other than the Xbox stuff, is there anything else you guys been up to, Derek? I see you've been.
Yeah, let's get
Looks like
Derek
you've been
involved a
racing,
little more.
man. Your hair's all ruffled. Looks like you've been
He
driving.
just got back from Canada, right?
Well,
kind of.
Yes, to actually, technically,
Kind of, actually.
kind of. Yeah, you confused me for a second there. Yeah, for all the video watchers, I've rearranged the furniture in pretty much my entire apartment. So now I've got more than just 3 guitars in the back of my video. I've got a little bit more. And some of that stuff I'm really trying to focus on a little bit more. I've got some cameras back here over my shoulder. Took those on a little bit of a vacation I took this past week. Trying to learn a little bit about some aspects of photography that I haven't really ever gotten into. So like landscape photography, I wanted to try, but like I never go anywhere, so it's kind of hard to do. But I tried a little bit of that with like a cheapo lens that I had on a highly discounted camera. And that turned out a way. And then I don't know what else do I have over here. I've got some keyboard stuff on display. That was a period of my life for I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years that like I was just way deep into keyboard shit. And like
oh, you mean like mechanical keyboards?
Okay, I thought you were talking about like a piano keyboard.
No, sirs. I was deep into the mechanical keyboard game.
Slippery slope.
Not deep enough to get to the slippery slope. And by slippery slope, I mean lubing the switches. That was too much time for me and too much concentration that I lack.
Nah, that's bullshit. I was at Derek's apartment one time and he was wearing the white gloves, just clicking.
I look up with the really magnified glasses.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. That's what I sound like when I'm not on recording, by the way.
Yes.
This is my recording voice only.
Well, that looks good. The background's a little bit more you.
Yeah, I'll flesh it out a little bit.
Whoa.
It's like you exploded. I was going to say, it's like you exploded all over your background.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got some plans too. Yeah, I have also been playing more video games than I normally do.
Thank
and
God.
By that I mean like 2 more ish. I don't remember when I started playing Stardew Valley again, but I decided that I'd go for a modded run this time. Up until this point, I'd been playing like fully vanilla Stardew Valley on the Nintendo Switch. After a while, I kind of got bored. I think around like year 3 of the story. And this time I'm like, all right, well, I have the Steam Deck now. Let's mod this bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I forgot you got that.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
it's both of the 2 new games that I've been playing. So the first one again, Stardew Valley, modded run. Admittedly, I did stop earlier in the year than I normally do. I think I only got like halfway through year 2 or something like that. No,
okay.
That's wrong. I got halfway through year 3. So maybe it did keep me playing for a little bit longer, but having the like ability to just install mods opens up such a huge like avenue for new content.
What are the mods? Like, what are some
I'm
of the mods,
curious.
for example?
So the big one is called Stardew Valley Extended. And that's pretty much what it says on the tin. There's like new locations on the map that you can go to. There's new events that happen, annually on the calendar year. There's new NPCs, there's new dialogue, there's new storylines with all the NPCs. And I think that's what kept me in there longer. I think that the actual farming and like making money and combat elements didn't really pull me in this time, only because I knew exactly what I wanted to do from the get-go, which was save all your vegetables, save all your fruit, save all the shit you pick up off the ground. You're going to make wine as soon as you can, and that's going to be where you make your money. So for the first like 3 seasons, I was just grinding, planting a fuck ton of vegetables, and like kept them all in a chest in my basement somewhere, and until I could finally like pickle them or turn them into wine or whatever.
Save them for your future vineyard.
I heard something, and I don't know if this is true. I've not played Stardew Valley, but is it made by one dev?
Yeah.
Like
It's,
literally one guy who taught himself how to like develop games?
It's awesome.
Yeah, he did all the coding, he did all of the artwork, he did all of the music, and I think he
That's crazy.
like released it all in like indie dev.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And everyone's waiting for his next game to come out. I think it's The Haunted Chocolatier. And every time I think about it, I just don't know when it's going to actually be here. I don't even know if it's been announced. So if I'm wrong, then I'm just wrong. I haven't looked into it. But
well, you know the name of it.
Yeah, and that's all I know at this point.
Okay.
I know that this most recent update to Stardew Valley is confirmed to be the last update for Stardew Valley.
I think I did see that on Twitter somewhere.
Yeah, which is kind of weird because the update before that was thought to be the last update to Stardew Valley, but he came back with another banger.
That's crazy to me. That one dude made that and like literally was teaching himself how to do it. That like blows my mind.
Dedication, man. That's so
Yeah.
that's
Crazy.
awesome now.
And it's so well made too.
When did that game come out?
A couple years ago.
Ooh, yeah, that's a great question. Stardew
19?
Valley. Ooh, it's got to be before that. I think. Yeah, 2016.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it's been around for a while.
It's a long run. And it still sells for what? Like, I think on Switch it's still 30?
That was going to be my guess,
sale? Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of $30 games, Derick, this is more geared towards you. Did you play any Hades 2?
I have it installed, but when I installed it, I think it was still in beta. Is it still in beta technically?
Yeah, I don't think 1.0 is out. Yeah, I don't think yet.
I'm going to wait for that. It keeps getting fed to me in my algorithms of like people reacting to all the like new dialogue and the way it makes them feel on the inside. I'm like, I will wait to play this game.
I want to.
Yeah, that's one of those games where it's like, yeah, I agree. Like, wait till it's complete to play it. There's certain games that I'm like really willing to jump in, like early access or something. But like story stuff, I mean, I don't know, because I think you're gonna miss like a decent amount of stuff they said. I mean, it's passable as is, but like there is quite a bit of content that is left out at the moment. So I was just curious if you had played it or not, because somebody else was texting me about it, and I'm just gonna wait on it. I don't even like think about it. I'm just like, I'll just wait till it's boom dropped.
Yeah, and on top of that, I didn't have a ton of time to play it. I kind of got stuck with a big project at work pretty much since January, and I got zero help on it in reality. But that is finally over with, which is why I'm playing some games now.
That sounds good. Because at one point you were like so in the blender, you were like, I don't even think I'm a gamer anymore. And I'm like, oh God.
I'm like, I'm just playing Counter-Strike sometimes and Rocket League sometimes.
But I think Hades is literally like, that will be the perfect game for your Steam Deck. I totally forgot you bought that. That was literally one night after our episode. You were like,
he bought it.
I'm doing it.
Talking. We were still on with him.
So would you say it's been worth it? It can't not be worth it, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, definitely. What I still want to do is take it down to Jersey when I go see my parents. That is, I think, the one thing that I've yet to do with it. But yeah, it's great just like sitting on my couch, or if I'm, eating lunch, taking a break from work for a little bit.
On the toilet.
Yeah.
Still not yet. That one still seems weird to me. I'm not a messy boy. I've got pretty good aim, but Boise. But
That's also like if you bring video games into the bathroom, that's getting a little like you've lost all boundaries.
Well, listen, like it's like we're on our phones on when we're sitting down on the toilet. What's the difference between bringing in your phone and bringing in, a game where you're
I think you're being
by yourself?
I think the game would mean you're there like probably at least like 45 minutes. Like your legs are getting numb at that point.
Well, listen, you might
feel like TV static.
Yeah.
You might have had you might have some Taco Bell, or you might have had something else that gets gets the gears churning down there, and you might have to be in there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No shame. No shame.
I don't know. It sounds like you literally have your PS5 set up in the bathroom the way you're talking right now.
It's not far away physically, right?
It actually, if I really wanted to, I could bring my controller in the bathroom, but I wouldn't be able to see the
TV. Just AFK in a match, so he doesn't want to get kicked for inactivity, so he's just
spinning
in the bathroom with the joystick moving. Yeah. Oh my god.
Was that a flush I heard?
Yeah. So that's cool. I totally forgot to follow up and ask you about the Steam Deck. It's been like a couple months now, right?
Like 2 months? Yeah, I got it in March because I got it for myself before my birthday.
Yeah, like all adults do. We just
treat yourself.
We buy ourselves our birthday presents.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, I think, of course, what I'm most looking forward to gaming wise has got to be GTA. But I wanted to ask you guys.
It's so far away now.
I want it so bad.
I know, but this last week, just with game announcements, this is like what I've been thinking about is realistically, and to anybody watching or listening, I'd love to hear your input. Realistically, what would be the maximum amount that you would spend on purchasing GTA 6? Now, I'm not talking about like over the lifespan of the game, microtransactions. I'm talking about buying the game. I want to hear what you guys think. I have a number in my head, but I want to.
It's tough. I know that my brain wants to start at 60, but for something like GTA 6, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 80, and I would probably still pay that. If you told me something in the triple digits, I'd be like, why?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not paying $100+ for a game. I don't want to feed into that and then have that become the new norm. Like, I know people are going to buy GTA, and it's already been reported that I think you said they are going to have, or not. I think we talked about this before. They're going to sell copies for $100+.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean, there's going to be different editions, of course. I would think. I mean, to me, I would say like 200. I would literally spend 200, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why though. Think of how many $70 games we buy that are half-baked pieces of shit that we are basically beta testing the game for them because a lot of these sports games, Call of Duty is notorious for this, right? I don't know. I feel like we were playing MLB, right? We were playing that like a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking about how shitty this online experience is at times. Mm-hmm. So, like, we'll pay $70 for something like that, but then this game's been built for what, a decade? You know what I mean? And Rockstar never misses, and the level of detail that they put into their games is just insane. Somebody was posting like TikTok clips of some of the details in Red Dead that they hope GTA 6 has, and it's crazy. Like, you could, feeding bodies to the crocodiles when you shoot somebody, like they actually bleed exactly from where you shot them, and then they're wounded. It's just like the crazy amount of details. I support that kind of development, and I would spend triple digits on a game like that. I understand what you're saying. Let's not make that the norm. But I think the other argument is let's make it the norm if something is actually well made, though. I mean, I'm tired of spending like,
but,
$70, $80 for this bullshit yearly stuff when, maybe it's $100 for GTA 6. I mean, come on. The amount of hours you get, if you break that down, even $200 for a game that you put, 1,000 hours into, that's crazy value.
I mean, you're telling me, so I have to pay, so if I want a complete game, which we used to get all the time, and we paid less money than we do now for standard edition gamings. Like games now are $70. Games back in the day were $60, and they were complete on first day. You got your game, and everything was there. It was content complete. Red Dead Redemption 2. You were just talking about that. I've only played a little bit, but it's regarded as one of the greatest games of all time. That was $60.
70.
No, well, it might have been 60. I don't know, $60 or $70. Doesn't matter. But I'm not paying $200. I don't care if the game's been in development for 50 years. Like, I'm not paying $200 for a game because it's supposedly content complete when I could have paid $60 for any game I wanted back in the day, and it would have been content complete, and it would have operated perfectly.
Well, I understand that, but here's the thing. Whatever game you could be referencing back in the day versus the budget to game development, the budgets have gone through the roof. Like, it's tenfold what it used to be to make a game. It takes longer and it costs more. I'm specifically speaking on like Rockstar, and listen, I'm not saying I want to spend $200, but I'm saying if that would be the cheapest way to get into the game, then I would do it, because again, how many hours will I play it? It's a live service game, of course, too, right? They're going to support it. Look how long they've supported GTA 5. Well, yeah, they're still putting out updates and content for the online, right? Then you have the role playing. I mean, it's more to me, it's more than just, it's like, I don't think you can compare this game to any other game because it's bigger and there's just way more going on. I agree. I mean, listen, I don't want to spend that much money, but I could say that to myself. I mean, think about, like, you go to a movie, right? You watch an hour and a half movie and spend $25, right? Like, what's the cost per minute there? Or Ryan, how much money have you spent on Apex Legends?
Well, prior to 2 years ago, it was probably a good amount, but
in the hundreds, right?
Well, yeah, but the game was free. So, but I know what you're trying to say. And
I'm just saying though, like, you'd be surprised at what you're willing to spend on something that actually, entertains you.
Yeah.
But
go ahead. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like tipping culture, at least here in America, right? Like, you pay for your food, and I mean, the idea is if you like the food, if you like the service, you give a little bit extra as a tip, just to be like, good job, y'all. It's almost like I feel that way with GTA 6. Like, I still think the base game should be like 60, 70. I'd even say still pushing 80. But if they released like higher editions of the game for like, I don't even know what you would include with that, because like even DLC seems like skins and stuff, that doesn't seem worth it enough.
It's usually like stuff for online, like shark cards.
Yeah.
So it gives you money, like in-game currency.
Makes more sense than like skins and stuff. But I'd rather incentivize the company to, do good things by speaking with my wallet, right? Like, Rockstar, you did a good job with this one. Here's the extra money on top of the $80 I already paid.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
How about we just make a good game and sell it for the $60, $70 price tag that is standard now, and then you'll sell a shit ton of copies and make a shit ton of money, and then you can come out with DLC and charge for that $20, $30, whatever, $40. People will buy that because the game's so fucking good, they want to keep playing. You have a store. I don't like stores in games, but they exist. Make money that way. Like, you can't have the entry fee to a game, the entry fee to own the game, $200. Like,
Listen, I'm not saying it should.
No, I know.
I'm not saying it should, but my question was like, how far would you go?
Okay.
And
I think
I'm just saying.
If you did a poll, I would think that like 80%, at least 80% of people would not pay that. That's my guess.
I don't know. GTA 6 has people been waiting a long time. I mean, the amount of life events that I've gone through since GTA 5 came out is a lot. Like I've lived a life since then. So I'm just saying, I think you'd actually find the opposite. I think you'd be surprised at what people would be willing to spend on GTA 6.
We should actually do that poll. We can do that poll on one of our socials, and that would be interesting.
Yeah, that just came to mind because we're talking about all these game releases, and it's like the one that's like always in the back of my head is like GTA 6. It almost feels like like it's never going to happen kind of thing because we've just been talking about it for so long. But I think that's interesting.
I get that.
It's prices of games it's going to increase. I mean, I forget there was a number thrown out at the dev cost to make GTA 6, and it was more than like the biggest, most decorated movie that's ever existed. You know what I mean? Like the budgets are nuts for GTA 6, and Red Dead's a little bit of a different demographic. It's still great, but it's much more niche than GTA. I mean, GTA is literally like any person that plays video games would probably be interested in it in some level because there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to have incredible hype going in, and people are going to buy it regardless of the the reviews or whatever. It'll sell regardless. I'm hyped for it. I just hope. I mean, and Rockstar has a great track record. I am fully confident they're not dropping the ball on this one. But man, we've been so burnt by new games. Most new games, not every new game. Some new games come out and they're fantastic and they're great and they deserve all the love and praise that they get. But the vast majority of games that come out are just like my expectations when new games come out are so low now. Yeah, if the game operates and has a decent amount of content, I'm like blown away. I'm like, whoa, how'd they do that? How'd they pull that off?
Well,
football.
Here's something
my Xbox.
Something to think about is for GTA 5, I'll say, I spent well over $100 on that game, and I'll tell you why, because I bought it for the Xbox 360 when it first came out. And then I bought it for the Xbox One, you know what I mean? And then, I could have bought it for PC. Yeah. I think on Steam, it's still like $60. I mean, it goes on sale, but like up until recently, I know it's still like, I mean, they don't have any incentive to discount that game. It still sells. It blows my mind, but that's just, I do. I think it's a very interesting, that's the one game I think you can have this kind of discussion about.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So we'll see with GTA 6. Was that 2025 or 2026 when it comes out? I think it's 2020.
I think next year.
Is it next year? Okay. Well,
thank God.
That's good. Gears of War E-Day and GTA 6.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the name of the Gears of War game. E-Day just kind of sounds weird. I don't know. It sounds kind of cheesy.
That's what they call it in the game.
I understand why they would call it that, but they could have also just called it Emergence.
Yeah,
that would have been
Gears
sick.
of War Emergence, or like, I don't know, E-Day. sounds like a sale that like Prime Day.
E-Day.
Come on down to Circuit City for E-Day.
Exactly.
We're selling ecstasy for a discounted price.
At Circuit City. That's where I get my ecstasy.
That's Circuit City. Those went extinct.
Yeah, that's why you can buy ecstasy there now.
No, now they're Halloween stores.
Spirit
Halloween stores. Every single one of them.
Yeah, wait, weren't the Circuit City stores, this is off topic, but weren't they shaped like a plug?
Were they?
I don't think so. The one that I'm thinking of, the one that was closest to where we grew up, was not shaped that way.
Yeah, but the front was like a school.
Maybe.
Like, I'm pretty sure.
Like the
Maybe.
windows, or like
Well, why don't
the
we
the
just-
sign,
The actual
or like the whole building.
like the entrance.
Why don't we look it up?
About to look up what did Circuit City look like? What did Circuit City look like? Google image
Yes,
search.
okay, I'm right.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Okay.
Well,
I
eh,
didn't know that was supposed to look like a plug.
Is it?
Are you
Well,
looking
it's
at like
a
those red
circus.
Is
images?
it supposed to look like a plug? I guess it's supposed to look like a plug.
Look at like I'm talking OG Circuit Cities.
I'm
They
looking
all
at
had
it.
that brick. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
see
do. It's like the European style charger, right?
Exactly. It was an adapter.
Oh my!
I swear this
gosh.
Google image is from the one that we grew up by. It looks just like
No,
the surrounding
It was a
area.
design. I'm telling you
No,
right
I
now, it was a
believe you.
design
It's a
choice.
smart choice. But not all
Yeah,
of
I
the
mean,
stuff
looking at these pictures,
Yeah.
it looks like at least a handful look exactly like the one from around us,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and they're all definitely different Circuit Cities. My
even
Well,
know.
God.
I think I was in that store once
Isn't
in my whole
Circuit
life, but I
City-
can't remember.
Isn't that Staples basically? Like wasn't that or like Best Buy?
No, no,
It's
no,
like
no.
Best Buy?
It was best. It was more Best Buy.
Okay.
Yeah, I could tell you the smell though. Like I could literally identify the smell of walking into a Circuit City. It's the same as when you walk into a Best Buy. I don't know what it is. It's like it's kind of like
It's like plastic.
the bowling alley carpet, but it's also like the electronic smell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Burning of
dude. Yeah, good call
fabric.
on the carpet part.
yeah.
Because
That's-
definitely,
it's-
like the heated electronics makes sense. But I'm like, there's something else in there, some je ne sais
there's
quoi
something
in there.
else in there.
yeah, yeah. I think it's probably the sweaty employees. But
Mhm. Yeah.
All right.
well, anyway, that's what I've been up to.
Smelling Circuit Cities.
Yeah, reminiscing on the scent of a Circuit City. Interesting. All
That's beautiful.
right. So I have not been doing too much, but in terms of what's pertinent to our podcast, I've been doing a couple things. I've been playing. Well, all right. I'll start with the smaller stuff first. So I did see Furiosa, which
Is it
was
a
the
prequel?
It's a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, which is one of the greatest pieces of cinema I've ever watched.
And that's a sequel, right?
That is a I don't know if it's a sequel. It's kind of like a I don't know if it's a
Side
reboot.
story.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know exactly.
Because I swore there was another Mad Max before that.
There
one.
were
Like,
ones that came
within
out
a few years.
There were a few that came out like I don't know 80s, 70s, 80s, something like that.
Yeah, with Mel.
Yeah, with Mel Gibson, and but anyway, yeah, Fury Road was fantastic. So like Furiosa had a lot to live up to, and is it better than Fury Road? I mean, I didn't think so, but it's sniffing it. It's damn close. It was fantastic. It was a great ride. I saw it with my dad, and he really enjoyed it. If you liked Fury Road, which is just like high octane, visceral action with just a ton of cool looking like post-apocalyptic vehicles and guys with nipple clamps, a guy with a
Whoa.
guitar with flames coming out of it. It's like testosterone fueled fun. And Furiosa, even though the lead is female, is still testosterone filled fun. And Chris Hemsworth is so good in the movie. It's probably my favorite role he's ever done. He plays the villain. He's fantastic. Anya Taylor-Joy.
This guy's out of control.
What? What'd I do?
I just can't get past the fact that you just said that nipple clamps were testosterone
Fueled.
fueled. Sorry. Yeah, when I think of testosterone fueled, I just think of nipple clamps.
Dude, it
Football and nipple clamps,
testosterone
baby.
wants to escape out of the nipples. If you clamp
Okay.
them, it keeps
Seal it in there.
Yeah, it's more for you. Anya Taylor-Joy is fantastic. She plays Furiosa very well, and Furiosa is the character from Fury Road, who was played by Charlize Theron. She was great. And this is basically like it's a prequel, but it really leads into Fury Road, which was really cool, and I didn't really expect that. But man, it was great. It was fun. It's a fantastic revenge movie, and it's a gratifying and satisfying revenge tale too. But like the ending was great. So would highly recommend. And I've been watching an anime that Derek is aware of, and he's finished already. But I've been watching this anime called Frieren, which was very popular over the winter season. That was a winter season, or was that fall or winter? I think that was winter.
I don't remember. Yeah, probably winter.
I think it was winter. But it
couldn't have been spring, right?
No, it was definitely winter, or it was definitely at least winter. It was before spring. But that show got a lot of hype. I heard a lot about it. It took me a while to get to it, and I'm almost done. I have like 2 episodes left, and I love it. It's so like wholesome, and I love all the characters, and it just I love the themes of the show. I wasn't sure what to expect going into it, but it really deals with like mortality and like time and relationships and empathy and all that good stuff. And I just really like it. And the action when the action does pick up, which it does, not frequently, but when it picks up, it's really good. The animation is awesome. And Derek, you weren't lying about that. The OP in the for the second half of the season. That opener song is fucking fire. I love that. It's so much better than the first one. Even the ending theme is better too. It's kind of like a more upbeat version of the first one.
Yeah,
but I really like that show. So Derek and I will have a discussion on that more in depth in a future episode, I'm sure. And then I'm also been watching Dragon Ball Z Abridged, which is a parody of Dragon Ball Z that a friend of mine had pestered me for months to watch. And listen, I don't know why it took me so long to watch it. I mean, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, but I don't know why. I wasn't sure I didn't want it to tarnish my memory of Dragon Ball, but it's only enhanced it. It's really good.
Oh yeah,
it's hilarious. It definitely takes a little bit to get going. It definitely feels more experimental early on, and then the guys really, get their feet under them and get more comfortable, and the jokes start landing more and more consistently. But it's just really funny. Derek, you and I will have to sit down and just watch some episodes sometime because you'll love it.
I haven't seen an episode of that in years, dude.
Oh man, it's so funny. There's so many quotable moments and just goofy shit. It's like the creativity these guys have is awesome. I just finished the Furiosa saga, so I'm getting into what I hear is the best arc or the best arcs, which are the Android saga and the Cell saga.
Yeah, so. The old algorithm fed me something from the Cell saga today, where TN just says "fuck you" to Cell.
Oh, is that what he's holding back with the tri-beam? Yeah. TN the goat. That's all he does. He just shows up and he just like
he's like, fight me until someone stronger arrives.
He just
Chiaotzu, no.
Chiaotzu!
That's all of TN's time.
Yeah. He just distracts the enemy long enough for Goku to save the day, basically.
Yeah.
So that's
for Piccolo to come in to wait for Vegeta to come in to wait for Goku to come in to save the day.
Ultimately, we're still waiting. Goku. It's all just for Goku to save the day. So Dragon Ball Z Abridged has been awesome. Can't wait to finish that. And then probably the Phillies. I'm not gonna talk in depth because I want to do that in a separate episode. But they've just been a joy to watch every night for obvious reasons. They have the best record in baseball. Maybe not. Maybe by one game to the Yankees, but they're at least, if not the best team, the second best team in baseball. So they've been amazing. And then XDefiant. Been playing a lot of that. That's probably been the game I've been playing most, or that's really the only game I've been playing for the last couple weeks. And I really enjoy it. I wasn't sure what to expect. I know it had a lot of hype going into it. It finally released after a long wait. Was advertised as the Call of Duty killer, which, I see a lot of parallels with Call of Duty when I play that game, but it's a little more arcadey and a lot more casual. And that is,
Okay, that's what I heard too.
yeah. So
I heard that it's a lot of just like W key mouse one.
Yes.
I mean,
That
there's
doesn't
strategy,
appeal
and
to
there's strategy and teamwork that needs to be done if you're trying to really take the game seriously and win. Like there's different classes and stuff. It's kind of Overwatchy, in that way. Even some of the game modes are like there's an escort, a payload escort type of game mode that's very
Yeah, and
Overwatch-esque.
they said they're dropping TDM soon.
Good, because I was always like, why isn't there a deathmatch in this? It's supposed to be like a
Yeah.
casual FPS.
It's an afterthought, I guess.
Hey, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. The shooting is a little inconsistent, but I think the presentation is good. The movement feels good overall. And I do like the different classes. It's cool what they did. They basically, it's a Ubisoft game, which, Ubisoft, but stuff, they didn't make the game, they were just publishing it. So what they did is they took the different factions in the game are from different Ubisoft titles. Like you got Splinter Cell in there, you've got Far Cry in there, Watch Dogs is in there, and there's
The
Division's in there,
and they're also putting like a siege faction in there. It looks like Blitz. They're like shield operators, that's exactly what the game needed, was more shields. So that's I don't know. That doesn't seem quite balanced, but yeah, I've been playing a little bit with Ryan. Certainly not nearly as much as he has, but it's not a bad game by any means. It just you play it and it leaves you wanting more.
Yeah,
that's just how I feel. Like I just feel like, okay, like that was a good warm up. What's the main event here?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to say it feels half baked, because I think that's being too harsh, but it definitely is. It's definitely lacking a couple of modes, and I think TDM will be good, and then we'll see what else they come out with. More factions will always be welcomed, but I think they have 4 factions right now, and 4 or 5, and that's and each faction has 2 different kind of classes. So like 2 different ultimates you can use, whatnot. So they're not all the same. But yeah, I've been really enjoying that game, and I don't think did I mention that there's no SBMM in that game, at least in the general game, in the welcome playlist, which is like the playlist the playlist you first play when you log on, because there'll be SBMM in that, so you get matched up with other players that are starting for the first time. But the no SBMM, I've played a decent amount of it. I definitely feel that the games are more random, which is good. That's what it should do. Not every game should be a sweat fest. So I'm having fun with that. It's casual. I'm going to keep playing it and see what the updates do. But I think Chris and I will probably have another episode on that and talk more in depth on that. And maybe we'll say, maybe we'll answer the question: can XDefiant be a Call of Duty killer? We'll see.
How long has it been out?
A month, maybe less than a month, but we're getting close.
And I think it's still season 0, right?
Yeah, they still haven't started season. Yeah, it's still season 0. So that's what every live service game does now. But yeah, we'll see when I think season 1's coming out soon. But I've seen a lot of streamers playing it, and it's all over my YouTube. Obviously I've watched one video and I'm going to get more, but I see a lot of big time streamers posting videos on it, so it's definitely making the rounds. It's getting out there.
I will say though, it's not like a content cash cow,
No, definitely not yet, at least.
It's not something that you love to watch. I do think there will be a fairly legitimate esports scene for this game, so competitive scene. So I think there will be that factor, but yeah, I need more. So we'll see what the future holds
for sure. So yeah, that's what I've been up with. That's what I have been up to for the most part. I know we're at time, so let's wrap this baby up.
Yeah, let me just finish my list real quick.
Yes.
The second game that I was playing on the Steam Deck is called Army of Ruin. If Bullet Hell is a kind of game where you're just dodging a bajillion bullets all the time, this one's been described as Bullet Heaven because you are the source of all of those bullets. That's a real easy one to just kind of sit and play.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's like a top down or almost like a isometric view. Top down is probably the closest roguelike. So that's been fun to just kind of casually play.
To watch some gameplay on that. That sounds awesome.
And also F124 was released. And even though I said that I was going to speak with my wallet, I am an absolute hypocrite because I bought it and I bought the upgraded Champions Edition. And the game is an absolute fucking dumpster fire.
Oh no!
Just like COD, I mean they rotate studios, so this is the same team who was working on F122, and to their credit, the stuff around how the tires wear on the car, like some tires wear faster than others depending on the track, and you know, if you rub up against another car's wheels, like those tires are going to suffer for it and you're going to feel that performance loss. Sometimes AI seems more dynamic, which is nice. Some of the new career mode stuff looks really cool that they put more like in-depth contract stuff in there or like driver ratings and stuff like that. But the actual gameplay is just garbage. They were touting this new handling model, like the cars are going to feel so realistic and it's going to feel so much better than it does in F123, and it doesn't at all. It's like, I've heard it described as like the developers only ever tried it on a controller, and then like a month before the release they're like, oh fuck, we forgot about steering wheels. Which is like
how most people are going to be playing, or maybe not most people, but a lot. There's a huge demographic of people that play racing games like sim racing. Like,
yeah, I would say a majority of maybe not. Maybe you're right, but it was so bad. It was so bad that they like day one were like, yeah, we're gonna patch a handling model. We hear you. We know it's bad.
Jesus Christ.
And they did patch it, and it did get better, but it's still not good.
Well, that sounds like another situation where in 6 months it could probably be the game that it was meant to be. So I mean, at least it's something like things like that they can adjust and fix and patch, rather than like, you know, sometimes like game design decisions can't be reverted or changed. So yeah. I mean, maybe it can get better, but
that's like a foundational
that
issue.
Sucks.
With that game.
Yeah, your driving game doesn't drive well.
Like,
yeah,
where's the fun?
I'm so disappointed. I was pretty excited for this one to come out, but I'm stuck back in F123 until the internet tells me that F124 is finally fun.
Did you try a refund?
See, now that sucks.
Did you try a refund?
That sucks.
No, I decided that I would punish myself for my hubris. So I'm just gonna keep it so that way I get the update when I get the update.
All right, well,
fair enough.
I hope it gets better for you. I know how much you were looking forward to that.
Was 22 a bad game?
22 was different than 21. Just like the driving felt real different, but it's because they changed the cars themselves. Mm-hmm. So that kind of made sense. 23 felt like 22, but better.
Okay.
I would have been absolutely chuffed if 24 was just 23 with all the cool shit that I mentioned. That would have been fine by me.
See, it's like sometimes they overthink it. It's like,
yeah,
by trying to make new, they sometimes make it worse.
Yeah.
Game devs, every game has these decisions where it's like, who the hell is making these decisions?
It just sounds like they weren't thorough enough with especially
they
with
don't
the
play their
steering
game.
wheel gameplay. Like that is it's a racing game. You have to make sure it feels good on all inputs.
Yeah.
You know,
and I mean, I've heard that F122 and 23, the handling model was, you know, designed and coded by engineers. Like software engineers, whereas
Uh-huh.
in 24 they had actual motorsport engineers giving feedback on like how things should be. But somewhere along that line, like something broke down, and it's, I don't know. I just don't want to play it until it's fun.
So is it like one of those things where it's different and it feels like shit, or it's like objectively shitty?
Half of both. If I drive the way that I'm used to in F123, I'm almost guaranteed to not make it through a race just because, like,
oh my god,
yeah, the way the tires wear, like you'll just heat them up or just spin them if you're bad like me, and like you'll just end up with a puncture. But I mean,
seriously, you're just blowing out tires.
Yeah, and it seems like what people are doing now is they're setting up their cars to kind of compensate for the shitty handling. And what I don't want to do is that, and then get used to that, and then they fix the handling model, and suddenly I'm driving all shitty again.
Yeah, because you got used to this other shitty version, and now you're back to the way it was. Yeah. That is weird, because that's one of those games. I mean, every game has a feel to it, but I mean, when you're talking about driving, I mean, that's everything is the feel.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I didn't know there was that much variation in the games. I'm like, how much can you really change?
Yeah. I don't know what the rotating studios are really working on, because at least the UI for the most part is consistent. But man, I don't know.
I got to look at these Steam reviews when we're done here.
It's gonna be bad, man. But yeah, last thing there is, speaking of F1, I think last time we recorded an episode together, I wore a McLaren shirt. That's because Lando Norris got his first win, and today I'm wearing a Ferrari shirt because, gosh darn it, Charles Leclerc finally got his home Grand Prix victory after 5 long years of waiting.
These guys winning on their home in their home land's awesome.
Yeah.
Homeboy.
That's gotta be huge. Yeah. I never thought of that.
It was good. Hearing the commentary of when he's going across the line, he's like, "Oh, Charles Leclerc lost his father in 2017." I'm like, "Stop crying!
I can't see the finish of the race."
Apparently, he was crying in his helmet too. Like the last 5 laps, I'm like, "Stop telling me this, man."
Was it close at all, or like?
I'm a man. I have nipple clamps.
I'm keeping my testosterone inside my body.
So much testosterone.
Yeah. Was it a close finish, or was it convincing?
It was convincing.
Okay.
It wasn't a Max Verstappen win. It wasn't a Max crosses the line and then you can go get like concessions and a small bathroom break before the next person crosses the line. But like there was some time. There was some time back there. Yeah, that's all I got.
Alrighty, well, sorry to jump the gun back there. But oh, well, I'm not closing this out, but yeah, I'm glad we got to catch up a little bit. I missed you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, you can clamp down on our nipples at 5 o'clock sweats on Instagram, at 5 o'clock sweats on Twitter /X. We are available in YouTube video form. That's what you call that on YouTube. We are 5 o'clock sweats over there, and we're available in audio only form on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. What else we got?
Gucci.
Any last words?
No.
Vin Diesel?
Well. I am not a gun.
Oh, right. I was going to watch Iron Giant. All right. Okay, we need to end the episode.
Oh, we should do an Iron Giant episode.
Oh, we should.
Movie club. Movie club Iron Giant. I can get the VHS from my mom's house.
All right. Well, keep your ears peeled. Yeah, fuck it. Keep your ears peeled for that one. But as always, stay sweaty.
Stay sweaty.
Yeah, we'll get back into sync eventually.
You know, I forgot that I normally do the outro thing, I was scrambling for something to say. I don't know if you could tell.
No, you.
Somebody said something about nipple clamps. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know. I blacked
It
out.
was a good reference. Way to call it back.
If you want to seal your testosterone in us,
Inside of us.
gross.